I want to get the message about sales out as much as possible and to as many people as possible. I want to disarm the stigma of sales, and I want to make people feel more comfortable with a relationship style of selling instead of a transactional style of selling. So, anytime 20 to 30 people want to get into a virtual room with me and chat about sales, I'm always down. And those are some of the things that come out of Sales Tales Live.
Welcome in to another mini episode. We're here today. We're going to talk to Mandy about sales tales. So, first, Mandy, how are you? And then tell us, how did sales tales go last week? And what is sales tales?
Amani, it's still February and I'm still doing my squat challenge. I know I just did squats for you earlier today. So it's 10 air squats every 45 minutes for 8.5 hours. And I got a little squat squad. So yeah, I'm just squatting. I'm just squatting a lot right now. It's fun, super fun.
Okay. Okay.
hmm Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
So,
How are you doing? What's going on with you? What's exciting for you?
this
Books.
we're a week out from book launch. That's filling up my world. And that's really it. Like that's the whole focus of the world. And we're up to week now 4 of the semester, so cruising right along. So yeah.
Good. I'm excited for your book, Amani. You know I read
Yeah.
it. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that in the next show, but
Yes. I'm
and
excited to
this
hear what you think.
show,
Yes,
let's
sales
talk about
tales.
this book.
Yes. This
Yeah.
book here, sales tale. But tell the people that you had a live version of that, and tell people what the goal was in terms of teaching and how you use it to grow your business, because that's a really important lead generation vehicle that people underestimate.
I agree. So, Sales Tales Live was born out of, I do group coaching. I do private group coaching for sales teams all around the globe. A lot of it is virtual and some of it is in person. And I had a group customer approach me actually towards the end of 2023 and asked me, "Hey, Mandy, can you do any sort of sales tales? Can you do any sort of sales coaching publicly? Do you charge like a one-off type thing?" And I was like, "No, I don't, but it's kind of an interesting idea. Let's explore it." And so I started Sales Tales Live once every quarter last year. So the one I did last week was my fourth one. And the reason I did it was because sometimes the whole team can't make it, or sometimes the whole team doesn't want to make it. But as a leader, you want to find opportunities for your team to grow. And it may not be the whole team, it might just be one or two or three people. And then that one or two or three people can then evangelize the message from that. So that's what happened. And I do these now once a quarter. And it's really, really good because when I register everybody, I ask them, what do you want to learn from Sales Tales Live? And they tell me specifically what they want to learn. So I curate the content just for them. So it's really specific to the people that are on the actual call. And it's 75 minutes, and I make space for coaching. So even though I have planned curated content, if the coaching is going a different direction, I move where the conversation goes just to make sure the people on the call get the most out of it. And people really do bring their live problems. They bring the things that are on their mind, and we coach and we solve problems on that call, which I love. And from a business perspective, I get a lot of future coaching opportunities from it. I People that might have come, as a onesie twosie, they refer me to their bosses or their bosses' bosses or their colleagues or peers in the industry for private group coaching. Or they also refer me to speak on stages at sales kickoffs, or a lot of times you have your sales and customers at events. And I love those types of events, right? Customer events, because a lot of my message is all about building relationships, and it shouldn't always be on the salesperson. Like the customer needs to have like I'm a customer to a lot of the hotels. Like you've got to have a relationship building mindset too. And so yeah, I get a lot of referrals from it. But the other reason I do this is purely not even a revenue jet. This does generate revenue, but the real reason is I want to get the message about sales out as much as possible and to as many people as possible. I want to disarm the stigma of sales, and I want to make people feel more comfortable with a relationship style of selling instead of a transactional style of selling. So, anytime 20 to 30 people want to get into a virtual room with me and chat about sales, I'm always down. And those are some of the things that come out of Sales Tales Live.
What's an example of maybe an area you covered during one of the live coaching sessions from this past Sales Tales?
Strategy.
Mm.
So, and I'm really happy that people are, I think for so long, for the last 4 or 5 years, everybody has been very reactive, and people have forgotten that really, really great business people and really great salespeople are proactive, and people are coming back to their strategic side, which I really appreciate. So, a lot of people were asking about strategy. What is the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months look like? And how do I put a plan together, and how do I implement a plan? My team has a plan and my company has a plan, but like what's my plan for myself personally and professionally? So we talked about strategically, how do you make a plan that works for yourself? And I have a couple super fun acronyms that I throw in there that make everything a little bit easier too. But strategy was a hot topic this past last week.
Okay. And then just how I shared earlier, like when I'm teaching, I learn as much from my students as I teach them. So what are maybe two or three things you learned during this past, session of Sales Tales Live?
I think the value of service. I love
Mm,
service, and I know service is the way to get referral customers. But there was a guy who was on the session, and he was a front desk manager who had just been promoted to sales. And he was giving some really good examples of things he did at the front desk that made customers happy, that made customers stay at that hotel. And he had this aha moment of like, oh, I can actually that's a transferable skill I can bring from the front desk to sales, and I can deliver really great service and sales, and I can get the same results by somebody rebooking with me, or sharing a new, sharing a referral with me. So I loved seeing that light bulb, but that's always a great reminder to me of like, what am I doing in my own business to promote service? How am I servicing the heck out of my customers so they come back over and over and over again?
And so you said you have Sales Tales Live quarterly.
Mhm.
Do you ever change the content or items you teach about, or is it pretty much the same structure?
Every time it's different. So
Mhm.
the structure's the same. It's always 75 minutes. There's always 3 blocks of content. There's always lots of space for life coaching. That's the structure. But the content is different every single Sales Live. So in fact, I have 2 people that have been to all 4 Sales
Oh,
Lives,
wow. Okay.
and they get something different every time, which is great. Everybody also gets a signed Sales Life book. They get a book from me
Yes.
too.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, the content changes with what's going on in the marketplace and market conditions. And the beginning of the year, for example, time management was a hot topic for people this time. And so I focused a lot on, how are you refueling and re-energizing yourself in your downtime? And so the content changes every single time.
Got it. And if people are interested in maybe signing up for the next session or maybe having you kind of come in person, what's the best way to reach you?
Go to my website, Mandy with an I, Graziano with a Z.com, mandygraziano.com. Click on contact Mandy, and you can, fill out a form. It's quick, it takes about 2 seconds, and just says put me on the Sales Live waiting list. And when I release new dates, you'll be automatically notified of the new dates and when it is, and you'll get a registration link.
New dates are coming for the next quarter's event. Any final words on Sales Tales Live and the experience and all of that?
Well, one final question to you is, I've never done an all entrepreneur Sales Live. And I've been thinking about that because as entrepreneurs, we don't have a boss anymore. We don't have anybody holding their feet to the fire to make those sales calls or develop those relationships. So, in your opinion, as a multi business entrepreneur, what do you think about that?
I would 100% be in. I think it's got a lot of value. I would have a list of 4 or 5 questions to send you in advance to make sure we cover. Like I would be ready
Mhm.
to attend, ready to listen, take my notes. I would be sad that it's only 75 or 90 minutes, however long you make it. So yes is my long answer, my short answer to your question.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. We'll look for that coming soon. That'll be my next one. I think maybe in July.
Okay, July. I'll
Okay.
send you my schedule so I can make sure I'm able to tune in live.
Send the schedule.
Um,
We'll set it up just for you, Amani.
awesome. I love it. I love it. Thank you very much for watching this mini episode, everyone. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe on the platform you're watching or listening on. Also, be sure to share it with a friend. And with that, thanks again for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you next
Bye.
time. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Adventures in Business. Don't forget to rate and review our podcast on the platform that you're currently listening it on. And don't forget to share it with your friends and anybody that might be as much of the business nerds as Amani and I are. See you next time for another captivating interview.